Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to the show here at the IVRC WEC. We are here for the seventh round of the WEC, of course. We are here today in Fuji. My name is Konstantin Grimminger, and alongside today with me is Martin Jacek.
Hello, guys, and welcome.
Yeah, we are looking forward to a good show. Currently, the LMP1 qualifying is on, and unfortunately, we can't show you the pictures right now because I have still minor issues with the broadcasting system. But that should be fixed in a few moments' time. At least we have the audio now and the stream working fine, at least somewhat fine, and we should be ready for the good action happening in a few moments' time.
Yeah, and actually, I can tell something about the qualifying because I have the broadcast here, and actual one is that Chilinos is leading the LMP1 qualifying ahead of Spano and Stwerka in the third position. Unfortunately, we are only 3 LMPs in this qualifying, actually in the race as well. But yeah, it's pretty close. Only 4 tenths to the third position, so I guess it will be pretty as exciting as well as in the GT field as well. So yeah, the track as well will provide some very good action. I guess it's a very difficult track. We have a very long straight on the start-finish straight with some very good overtaking opportunities. And the straight is also very bright, I guess is the right word. So we can see overtaking scenes with 3 cars alongside. So
You meant very wide, right?
yeah, very right. Yeah, that's what. That's,
Very bright, is it? As well, too?
no, that's a word I searched for. Yeah, a very right start from the straight. So we will see some very good overtaking moves there, I guess, in the race. And yeah, the track is as I said before, very technical. The second part has some very lot of turns, very fast corners, and a very tight chicane as well. Very slow chicane. But yeah, everything a racer needs for the track. So yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Okay, I've been told that I can be back with the pictures right now. We're looking at Jesus Chirinos. He's in the, of course, in the qualifying session. 2 minutes remaining, but we will not focus that much on the qualifying itself, rather than on the LMP1 Drivers' Championship, where we can see Bruno Spano, who is currently in second position in the qualifying, leads the Drivers' Championship for C-Force Racing, the Venezuelan team, the Brazilian driver Venezuelan team, with 97 points. Mark Zwerka is second, currently in third in the session, but second in the Drivers' Championship for Repsol Zwinigel Racing LMP1 team with 75 points, which means that even if he wins, he will just only be 3 points ahead of Bruno Spano after today's race, in case Bruno Spano doesn't score any points. Martin Jacek alongside with me today, but unfortunately not racing, but still in third in the Drivers' Championship with 64 points. That will most likely change as Jesus Chinos, who's currently in fourth, is looking good to set the pole time, and thus will be definitely will be a win contender for today, and most likely will overtake you, Martin. Sorry to tell you that it that way, but here we go. That being done, we will have a quick look onto the GTE Drivers' Championship, which doesn't load up for me for the moment, but here we are. Carlos Frau, currently in first in the Drivers' Championship for MPG competition Team Asia with 129 points. He grabbed the win in the last 3 races and scored another 3 second positions in the first 3 races. I'm still in second in the Drivers' Championship and will most likely be there after the race as well. Philip Volland, another MPG competition driver, is currently in third with 78 points. You have to look out for Otavio de Barros, who is there for Porsche KRT team as well, with currently only 27 points, but he's looking forward to gain his first ever WEC GTE win for today, which he's been craving ever since the first round of the season. Also, you have to look out for Marcos Landa, who's been exceptionally fast ever since he joined the GTE class. Real racing driver, of course, and it's been an honor to race against him, but here we are. He will definitely try everything to make more than just 2 points that he scored in the last round. Then we will switch on to the Teams Championship, where you can see only 4 teams contending so far, and unfortunately only 2 teams present today, but Absolute Pinnacle Racing LMP1 team is currently in first with 115 points, only 9 points ahead of C-Force Racing in the Porsche 919 Hybrid with 106 points, and MPG Competition LMP1 team down to 0 cars after having briefly 2 cars during the race with 70 points during the season, of course, not during the race. Then onwards to the GTE Teams Championship, we can say right here that MPG Competition Team Asia has won every race so far. That means they have 150 points on board ahead of the second MPG entry, which is in second with 78 points, and then Team Bernie, which is unfortunately not present today, but will surely try everything to bounce back even stronger for the final 3 races with their Chevrolet Corvette C7R. They are currently in third with 46 points. That being said, we can now look forward to the racing action, as the grid should be done by now.
Yeah, so the qualifying is actually over now, and Chirinos took the pole, of course, ahead of Spano and Zwerka, and it's a close qualifying, I guess. It's all 3 contenders are within 1 second, so yeah, it really provides some very, very good excitement also for the race.
Yeah, it shows that small grids can actually provide some good action as well, as we can definitely look forward to the racing action of today's race. We are now in the warm-up session, watching onwards to Jesus Chirino's car, who will be our pole setter for today. After the struggles he went through in Bahrain, the last round, he will definitely look forward to have a better performance. And yeah, we're just waiting out the warm-up session right now, and then we are good to go. Do you know who gained the pole position in the GTE class?
I think it was Markus Landa in the only. No, it wasn't Landa. I guess it was the only Ford GT in the field. I don't know.
So that must have been Landa, then, right?
Yeah, it's all right. It's Landa, and he had a very good qualifying because he was 1 second ahead of the second position driver. I don't know who it was, but yeah, Landa took the pole in the GTE, and of course Chirinos in the LMP1. So 2 C-Force drivers on the grid of their on the front row of their classes. So I guess we all know what this means. Maybe they will win the race, of course, in both classes. But we will see. The race is long, and of course, it's a very difficult track where you can make a lot of mistakes. So hopefully we will see an exciting race without any crashes. Would be cool as well.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, it's definitely we're definitely looking forward to a good race, and especially with the track, as you said yourself, very technical from what I've heard so far. I've never been here in my sim racing career so far, but you have been.
Yeah, of course. I've drove it back in 2014, I guess, in the Formula GP. It was a league of our partner league DLM, and yeah, it was my second sim racing race ever after Montreal, and yeah, it was it's a pretty unique and different track because Fuji was in the Formula 1 race calendar as well, but has been dropped, and yeah, of course the only choice for Japan is Suzuka now, but it's not a track where you go back regularly. So we drove it like 5 years ago, and actually you need to practice a lot for this track, and I guess a lot of drivers did this as well and practice a lot for this event, because it's not a track that you drive every week, like maybe Spa or whatever.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, the most European circuits are of course very famous, and with the expansion that's still coming to Automobilista as we're watching on, of course, this is Automobilista. With the expansion that's coming very soon, the final few tracks, which will be another very famous European set of European famous tracks, which are Donington and Snetterton, of course, as we watch Markswerker going around the final corner.
Yeah, and of
You're right.
course,
It's always you drive them pretty much in all races, right? And Fuji is not a track a lot of these drivers are used to.
yeah. And of course, the original VC grid is driving it in Fuji as well. I don't know if they are doing it this season, but yeah, of course, it's a track where the LMP and GT cars also drive in real life. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's not been on the calendar for this season, as far as I know. But we decided to put it on because we thought it would be good to have it on the calendar as a sort of our calendar has some circuits which are very very famous at the WEC calendar itself, like the Nürburgring. We had that at round 4, I guess, in July. And also, of course, Interlagos, which will return to WEC in this season, 1920 season, which just started today as well. And yeah, it's good to see Fuji, of course, on the calendar, bringing in some interesting action.
Of course, Fuji is bringing some interesting action because, of course, the weather, which we don't have in Automobilista, but in real life, it rains a lot in Fuji, of course. So it brings some more excitement as well. But we don't have any rain in Automobilista. That's pretty sad. But I guess it still will be an exciting race, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, we all do indeed. As the clock ticks down right now, 45 seconds remaining on the session, and then we are good to go for the racing action. The race has been set, and we are switching officially to the race session itself. And we are now looking ahead to 90 minutes of pure racing action all over the field. Of course, the LMP1 field, as you said before, was very close in qualifying. Yeah. We'll see how this will pan out. Also, GT is always super close, especially in the midfield of it.
Of course.
And even with the 2 debutants we have today on right now, with Julian Gines, we returns to the LMP1 action, as someone claims there's the wrong grid.
Yeah, I actually read it as well. But as we try to fix the grid, I want to explain the scenario of the race, how this works. So the drivers have 1 minute time to adjust the setup for the race, and there will be no recon lap like it's known in the Formula 1 or whatever. So you don't need to drive from the pits into the starting grid. You are definitely teleported to the starting grid, and when the formation lap starts, and in the last corner, I guess, you have to be side by side with one car, and afterwards the lights are going green, and then the race starts. So it's
that's not absolutely correct, because after as soon as we just have the commands given by me in this case, which says that we go into the pit limiter, or the drivers should go into the pit limiter speed, and as they have to line up in double file, as it's of course usual in the sports car scene. And I was getting slightly impatient right now in the chat.
I actually forgot to chat things, so...
Exactly, and then we go into, or the drivers go into double file, and then we'll have a flying start, as it should be. So the grid should be sorted right now.
Yeah,
which means, the grid is perfectly sorted, so let's quickly go through it, as the cars will now wait for the 1 minute mark, or 1 minute countdown to tick down. You can see Jesus Chiros is in pole position for C-Force Racing, ahead of his teammate Bruno Spano, who is currently leading the championship. And then we have Markswerker, another LMP1 car, an Audi as well, the solo Audi on the grid. Then we already switched to the GTE class, which will be led by Markus Landa for C-Force Racing GT team, the sole 4th on the grid. Then we have Otavio de Barros, as I said before, he's very impatient to get his first ever win, thus he will try everything to be there. Christian Alvarez qualified in a brilliant 3rd, not the usual position to find him in. Ahead of Daniel Nieto, will have his debut today Then we have Carlos Frau in 8th and Philipp Volland in 9th, only down in 9th. And Julian Gines, who is also making his debut today, is in 10th. Who started 10th, of course. That being said, time has ticked down and the drivers are now off into the formation lap. As you can see, in the camera switches onward to Jesus Chirinos. Drivers can pretty much do everything they want right now, which sounds a little bit off because they have to keep formation, but they don't have to be in the double file formation they later have to be in. Yeah, Martin, you've been there in the LMP1 class. What's going through the driver's head right now?
So yeah, I guess my scenario was to warming up my tires and also the brakes. It's pretty much the brakes are pretty cold in the first few turns, so you need to brake very extremely to don't have cold brakes for the first turn in the race start. It's pretty not that the best choice. So of course you need warm tires and also warm brakes and hopefully race without any complications, so no crashes or whatever. That's what went through my mind in the races. Of course, if you are on the pole position, it's also different situation for the driver as well. He wants to hold the first position. As we can see, it's a C-Force front row lockout, so hopefully they don't touch the first corner. I guess Swerker will, for Swerker it will be good, but hopefully for the two drivers in front, they will have a clean start as well.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. I mean, Mark Swerker will definitely look forward to see these guys crashing in the first turn. But these guys are very experienced. We've all raced against them for quite a long time, and they all should know pretty much what they are doing. As it's my turn to give the command.
So yeah, safety car is driving in.
And they are already, without any command, they are in the pit limiter. That's absolutely brilliant. That's what I wanted to see. It makes my work even less. And we are now on the main straight, waiting towards the green light that should come on at any time. Christian Alvarez made a jump start right there. Good point in pointing out that exactly. But here we are. Green flag has already been waved, and there was definitely a crash somewhere in the grid. But we've seen Jesus Chirinos is leading ahead of Bruno Spano, and Max Swerker is looking to the inside. Will he make a move in turn 1? No, he thinks better of it. But the wise decision, most likely, because the race is 90 minutes long, and thus means we have plenty of time to do some overtaking. Yeah, right behind them, the GTE field was quite shaken up already. We can see Ottavio De Barros is, as I said before, trying everything to make a move on Marcus Landa, who's currently leading the GT field ahead of De Barros. And Nieto's already up in 3rd, while Christian Alvarez is in 7th, or 4th in the GT class, 7th overall. No, there's been an accident between the Porsche of Alvarez and Nieto up front, the Aston Martin driver. And now it's looking like Philipp Volland can make a move around the outside. He's pushed onto the grass, but yeah, that ruins his momentum. That allows Carlos Frau to stick it in his Aston Martin. And oh, he's very late on the brakes. Goes into Christian Alvarez up front, and that means there's absolutely no position change, but some squabbling here and there, which definitely we don't want to see anymore. As we'll have a quick look onto the start, whatever has happened there in the GT field. Just have to clear that up, because otherwise we'll have the question asked pretty much through the whole race.
Yep. You're checking the replay right now. I can tell that Chirinos is still leading the race ahead of Spano and Swerker. It looked like Chirinos had a very nice start indeed. Spano not, but actually he still is behind Chirinos, very close as well, and also Swerker is very close. Try to attack Spano in the middle sector, but yeah, Swerker is going very right here in the second turn and is losing a lot of time now to Spano.
Yeah, that being said, we just seen in the replay a few moments time before that the it looked like Christian Alvarez just messed up the start procedure a little bit. He was already in the limit and then basically went on straight ahead and plowed into the back of Marcus Landa, which didn't hamper any neither him or anyone else. So I think that no damage done right there, and that's exactly the thing we wanted to see. As you can see right now, the battle is going on between the GTE drivers, especially for P1. It's very interesting to see that the fight has heated up already. You can see right now Marcus Landa is able to pull away just a little bit, but the Barros is not being shaken off, and especially through the last sector, which is super technical and good to stick, that the Barros can stick with, and also Nieto isn't too far away. They're just 1.3 seconds behind the Barros in third currently. So you can see right there in the background, Philipp Volland was running wide, very wide, in the last corner, at the exit of the last corner, and that allowed Carlos Frau through into which should be seventh, or no, actually it should be fifth in the GT class, 8th overall. And yeah, small position change right there, but at the moment it looks like the GT field is as compact as it should be, as always.
Yeah, that being said, I also wanted to mention that the first and the last corner of this track are pretty much the most difficult ones, because they are very tight. I mean, the first one is like a hairpin, because it's a hairpin, and the last one is pretty...
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. Daniel Nieto was running wide right there. Sorry, man. But Daniel Nieto was running very wide right there, and Christian Alvarez has profited from all of that. We just caught that on camera as well. Christian Alvarez now up into third in the GT class, 6th overall. But he made a slight mistake into the chicane. Can Nieto gain profit from it? Doesn't look like it for the moment. Alvarez now into third for the moment, and Nieto down into fourth. That means one Porsche up and one Aston Martin down the order.
Oh! Well, Genius nearly spin in the middle sector, but he managed to hold the car. And yeah, actually, going back to the topic with the last corner is very difficult. Especially you need to brake 2 times, I guess. First one before the apex. The last corner is like two different corners. It's a very wide one, and then it's going tighter and tighter, more tight. And it's pretty hard to find the right braking point in the last corner. And yeah, I guess it will show some impact in the race as well. We will see some guys going off there.
Yeah, Martin, can you just jump onto Bruno Spano's car and take us around for the full lap, please?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's now on the slipstream of Chirinos on the start-finish straight, and going into the first corner, braking on the like 150 meters sign, and now very close to Chirinos into the second corner. It's a left-hander. Yeah, it's the fast corner. Now into this fast section. You can see it's very, very hard to find the right braking point into this long right-hander. Now into this left-hander. Very fast as well. Oh, he's going a bit right, Spano. And yeah, double right-hander into a very slow corner. It's a chicane, of course. One will be very hard as well. The middle sector now also right-hander. Very, very slow section. Now it's the technical part of the track, as we can see. You really need to find the right braking point, because the tracks are the corners are very wide, but you can't see anything like in the last corner as well. You don't know how where to brake there, so you need to practice a lot. And yeah, that was a lap. And as we saw, Barnos getting very close with his teammate Chirinos, but of course no crash, so fight is going on.
Yeah, you said that exactly right. I mean, I was wondering why Spano didn't fancy move into the first corner right there in the lap before, But I guess it's 90 minutes race. We've got 1 hour 22 minutes on the clock remaining, and of course the LMP cars are very strategic. They have mostly like to do 2 stops, right? And they have plenty of tire sets available, which means I think they have 4 tire sets available, if that's correct. Super soft, soft, medium, and hard. Yeah, that makes 4 in the end, and so very, very much a strategic thing, and I think Max Verstappen is counting on exactly that he's strategic-wise superior to the cars in front of him with C-Force Racing. So you can see Bruno Spano, once again running wide. Yeah, too bad for him, because he had a good run, he was very close, and he could have made a good last corner. He could have been into striking distance. As we can see, Jesus Chirinos now already gaining up to the very first GTE car in front. He is flashing him, as he is, of course, has all the rights to do so. And there's the first overlapping done from the LMP field against the GTE cars, or the first GTE car, of course.
So I also wanted to mention that the curbs here at the track are very problematic as well. So we saw it at Spano's car. If you brake on the curb, you might lose it, or might have braking point that's not in your
Absolutely correct. As you can see there right now, there's a big GTE fight going on between Carlos Frau, Daniel Nieto, and Philipp Volland, and there's now the LMP cars lining up right behind them. The leader is going through the very wide right-hander that works perfectly. Philipp Volland, however, hasn't given up on the fight on Nieto, and Aston Martin in front, and Aston Martin inside him. Nieto very late on the brakes. Oh, that was super close. And there's Alvarez now in front too, and there's Max Verstappen right behind them. That's exactly the action we want to see for a moment. And there's now Frau thinking about a move on to Alvarez into the uphill technical section. Volland running wide right there, but doesn't slow down too much, surprisingly. And there's now, Max Verstappen so close into the back of Nieto. Volland is spun right out of the picture, but he can continue. We look on to Christian Alvarez, who has lost the position to Carlos Frau. Wow, that was very chaotic, and that was exactly what we want to see. But Christian Alvarez is now in striking distance to Carlos Frau in the slipstream. He pulls out of it to the right side, very, very wide main straight. And Christian Alvarez has the overspeed to make the move done for the moment. He's up ahead, but here comes Nieto now. In the other Aston Martin. Now these guys go into the first corner. Alvarez locks up. He goes very wide indeed. That allows the 2 Aston Martins to go through. And they are now into 6th and 7th overall, which means 3rd and 4th. So these guys are fighting for the final podium spot. And Daniel Nieto on his debut, taking no prisoners at all. And he's showing the guys that he's a force to be reckoned with, apparently.
So yeah, the problem, as we saw in the last lap, was that Zwerka has lost a lot of time because of the overlapping GT cars, and that's a problem actually for an LMP driver. If you have some GT cars who are fighting, you need to find the way around, because the rules told you so that you don't, that you have to find a way around GT cars, so they don't need to leave their racing line. So it's pretty hard for LMP drivers, and as we saw in a battle, it can cost you a lot of time as well for the LMP cars. So Zwerka lost a lot of time, as we see. But that's action in endurance racing, and that's very cool. I like this art of overlapping and being in such a adrenalitic situation.
Yeah, I mean, you're completely right. And meanwhile, we totally missed the change for the lead. Bruno Spano is now leading the race ahead of Jesus Chirinos, and he's slightly pulling away, already more than 1 second, or slightly less than a 1 second advantage over Jesus Chirinos. And Max Verstappen, as you said before, Martin was completely right. He lost about 3 seconds in the overlapping section, or where he had to wait for the GT cars to fight it out between each other. And of course, he will be absolutely not liking that, and trying everything to bounce back the way he was coming from. Right. Looking at the GT cars, however, you can see Max Landa is now 8.6 seconds up front Otavio de Barros, so either there has been a crash, or they Landa of course, the Uruguayan driver is just so dominant. I haven't been able to watch the fight very closely. What, however, we have to watch very closely is the fight for P3, which is still going on between all four drivers that you mentioned before. Daniel Nieto is now up into 6th as he was before. 6th overall means 3rd in the class, and oh, there's Carlos Frau now with a good run onto the main straight. These two Aston Martins followed by two Porsches right behind them. Carlos Frau now, of course, with the slipstream, will try to make the move on the hair, on the main straight, and of course into the first turn, which is basically the, as you said before, a hairpin. So these guys are on the brakes right now. Carlos Frau on the inside and makes it stick for the moment, but that means that Nieto will have a good run onto turn 3, it should be, instead of turn 2, but he doesn't fancy a move, and that means Carlos Frau is for the moment back through onto P3.
Yeah, nice move by Carlos Frau as well, as we saw it a lap before. Alvarez was also on the inside of Frau, I guess, and he locked up and got very wide, but Frau made it very nice. So yeah, look, back the lead. Not the lead. Third position.
The lead of the group for sure.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean that's the way it should be, right? But this group is very interesting. I haven't seen these guys fighting for so long. Oh, Alvarez is very twitchy on the exit of the chicane right there. He nearly lost it, and Volland was also close to running into him. And Volland has had enough definitely right now. He's trying to make a move, trying to enforce a move onto Alvarez in this very technical last sector. And up ahead, Nieto once again passes through. He's back into third place, but that does mean that Frau will have once again the slipstream on the main straight as we look onwards to these guys. Actually,
now he's going.
Yeah, exactly. I was wondering if he had the space to go into the slipstream. Of course, there's Carlos Frau now.
And he's trying the same move again on the inside. Can he make it stick without locking up the front tires? Ooh, but Nieto is making a switchback move. Didn't work out. So Frau is taking back the third position. Nice battle there.
Yeah, very exciting battle between these two. Of course, Daniel Nieto has just signed up for the championship today, and he's technically racing for his own team, Light Arrows. Although his car unfortunately hasn't been added to the sim as yet, or to the mud yet, so he's racing with Aston Martin racing the stock car. And of course, just ahead we have the MPG competition Team Asia car of Carlos Frau. Do you think Carlos still has a chance for the overall victory, of course, in the GTE class?
Yeah, I think so. He's a very constant driver. Of course, he makes not that much mistakes as some other drivers in the grid, and I think he still has a chance, because I mean, if he's fighting with some drivers, he's always fair, and he has also a lot of speed. He's a very fast driver, so yeah, I think there's still a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, he'll definitely be glad to hear that. As we just saw from Nieto's onboard that he was running slightly wide. Of course, we're running with Nieto onboard right now on the main straight. You can see how much advantage it gives the car behind slipstream. He's pulling out of it, and he'll pull alongside Frau. Once again, these guys fight into the first corner. It looks like Nieto has it stick for the moment, and yeah, exactly as I said, it happened. And what's going on?
Carlos lost his connection, I guess. He just, I mean, I don't know, but he's just come from the track, so I guess that's over for Carlos. Or actually, the server doesn't recognize his car, so we need to wait the next lap.
We're looking at it in the replay right now. He's just pulling behind Nieto, and then he's
he's
back into the pits.
He lost. Over for
so it's
Carlos.
over for Carlos Frau. Man, that is a big shame. That's a very big shame for the championship leader to have a DNF like that. The same has happened to him in. There's been a collision between the two Porsches in the field of Repsol Swinging Race and MPG competition G team.
There's going Genius very right.
Genius was also running very right, and now the leaders catching up to the fight of Alvarez and whoa, that was close. Spano, oh so close. And
so
the GT cars
very
behind them,
close.
They keep on fighting. They keep on fighting as nothing could go wrong between them. Man,
But
this is.
I wanted to say also that Spano has taken the lead in the race ahead of Chirinos. Chirinos was the first one, but we didn't see the overtaking move from Spano, or maybe Chirinos made a mistake, but they switched positions, I guess. So yeah, Spano is the new leader.
Yeah,
Chirinos,
we realized that already a few laps ago. Sorry to interrupt you there, because the fight for P4 is it right now, and the GT class is still going on. That's crazy, and
that was very close with the LMP cars. Very close.
as you can see, Alvarez totally taking up prisoners in that corner. Was totally crossing across the grass, but yeah, I think over the course of time.
There's Stwerker coming.
Stwerker coming as well. But,
the Porsche.
Yeah, but
hopefully without any problems. Yep, looks good.
Yeah, looks good, very good indeed. As you said, Stwerker hasn't lost much time in this fight, unlike Spano before. But let's just have a brief look onto the LMP class for the moment. As you can see, Hizushiro is overlapping Otavio de Barros right there in the technical section. As you said before, of course, Spano's into the lead, but he hasn't pulled away that much from Shiros as I've expected him to do.
Yep.
He's only 2 seconds ahead of his teammate right now, and the overtaking maneuver has happened in like I believe it was lap 5.
Maybe I didn't saw.
Yeah, unfortunately we didn't see it, but yeah.
I think Shiros is having a good pace so far in the race.
Yeah, definitely.
Only 1.8 seconds behind Spano, so everything is still possible in the race. And as we saw right now, Spano had made a mistake in the first corner. He went very right, so he lost some time as well. But yeah, very sad for Carlos Frau that he had the connection problems. Maybe we can get an interview with him so he can tell us maybe what was going on, if he's ready for an interview.
Yeah, exactly. I was just asking him that via chat, and we'll see what he'll answer. Hopefully he can be there in a few moments' time.
And the battle between Alvarez and Volland is still going on. And
yeah, let's switch cameras to it. Yeah, you're right. It's pretty much the whole race already. Can you see how much this fight has been? The time advantage that Nieto has been able to pull off these guys ever since he doesn't have to fight with Carlos Frau anymore. He's already 5 seconds up the road of Christian Alvarez. It's absolutely crazy how much how much time these guys. Alvarez into the wall. He goes, but he hasn't lost any parts from the looks of it. But that should be right as we speak about it. That should be this fight over. Yeah. Oh man, that's some very bad news for Christian Alvarez.
And in this time, Chinos drove the fastest lap with a 1.19.1. So, yeah, Chinos is the fastest one in the grid, but he's still losing time to Spano. It's 3 seconds now, so he lost 2 seconds within 1 lap.
Let's have a quick look. Let's have a quick look onto Christian Alvarez. Looks like he was just having a little bit too much throttle. Oh no, he was on the curb. He lost it on the curb, accelerating on the curb, of course. As you said before, exactly the thing you said before. If you're on the curb, putting too much throttle in, you just slip away. You have no chance to actually save it.
It's like being on ice.
Yeah,
if you're on the curb, it's like being on ice. So you have 0 grip there. If you are, you're losing a lot of traction. The cars, the rears, you're losing your rear end, as we saw it with Alvarez.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, very big shame for Christian Alvarez, but the race is still 1 hour 8 minutes long, so we'll most likely be. He has plenty of time to bounce back. Of course, the damage doesn't help him, but as we saw before, Philipp Volland has put some damage to his car as well, and we are now awaiting Carlos Frau in the commentary booth at any moment's time. I'm pulling him in, and he should be there right now. Yeah, can you? Yeah, okay. Hello, Carlos.
Hello, Carlos.
Bad news, I guess, for you. Disconnect, was it?
Yeah, it was sadly.
No, a big shame. Can you talk us through your race so far?
Well, after watching my pace in qualifying, I had absolutely no chance for the victory. So I was looking for taking some podium and nice points to secure my lead. But anyway, now there is nothing to do.
Okay, how do you go? Or how do you handle this situation right now? Anything you change for perhaps the preparation for the upcoming round in Shanghai?
I just think it wasn't my kind of track, so I guess that more practice shouldn't make any difference. But
Okay, all
well,
right, yeah.
Can you
that
tell us
means
something about your battle with Nieto? Before you had your disconnect, we saw some very exciting moves from you and from Nieto as well. Tell us something about the battle.
it was pretty fun and clean. I mean, it was really fun because we both left us a lot of space and we didn't crash each other in any moment. So yeah, I enjoyed quite a lot.
Now it's been a very long time since you've battled any countrymates. Do you think it's the same kind of fight between between you and another Spaniard, or is it pretty much as the same as with other drivers from anywhere around the world?
Yeah, I don't find any difference. It's really nice to find other clean drivers. So I think nationality doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, that's good to hear, I guess. Martin, do you still have any questions?
No, I'm actually
Okay.
out of my questions.
All right. Last question for today. MPG competition will not be on the winners on the highest step of the podium for the first time in the season. Who do you think will go ahead and win the race in
Mm,
GTE?
I think it's pretty much done for Landa unless he makes some mistake in the pit stop really quick.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Perfect. Thank you very much. That should be it for today.
Good
Heads
luck
up.
for the next race.
Exactly.
As well.
Good
Thank
luck
you.
for the next race. Hopefully you don't have another disconnect, and yeah, speak then. Hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so.
Bye.
See ya. Thank you.
User left your channel.
So yeah, after this interview, we give
Yeah.
you a short overview of the grid so far. So Spanos leading the race with 3 seconds in front of Chirinos, then 7 seconds behind Chirinos is Tverka, and then the leader in the GTE class is Landa. Of course, 16 seconds ahead of the Bardos, then Nieto, then Volland, Alvarez, and Jins on the last position, and of course Frau with his disconnect out of the race.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. And he sounded like very heartbroken. But that's racing after all, and even disconnects like that can happen. And he will still be comfortably in the lead of the championship after this round, because I'm not there, of course, and Philip Volland is not in striking distance either. So yeah, unfortunately, Carlos Frau already out of the race, but it's he'll bounce back with even stronger in Shanghai. I'll be sure about that. So let's just quickly focus onto the LMP battle once again. It looks ever since like the gap between
Yellow flag.
yellow flag indeed. It must have been De Barros. De Barros has been off. He's lost the second position in the GT class. He's lost the second position to Nieto. We'll switch onto the replay very quickly.
Oh,
right
he
now.
spawned in the same spot as Alvarez, I guess.
Yeah, indeed, he did. We can have a quick look from the outside. It looks like he was just caught up on the inside curb, actually.
Yeah. Of course, if you're on the inside, you have less grip as well because it's not the racing line. So, yeah, he was also too early on the throttle and not a lot of traction shot. So, he made the same mistake as Alves on lap 4.
Absolutely correct. Also, what I was about to say though was that ever since Spano has overtaken Chirinos, it looks like he has slowed down a little bit to me overall. And of course, he still has the best, the fastest lap time. But then again, it looks like Zwerka is not pulling away that much as he was before from Chirinos, or vice versa. Looks like Chirinos has taken a little bit of a rest at the moment. Perhaps not the worst decision to see, hey man, I can't compete against my teammate. And Mark is far behind me either, so let's just relax a little bit.
Yeah, or maybe the tactics of CFOS is to use Chirinos for holding back Mark from Spano, that he can extend his lead in a Drivers' Championship. What? Maybe, I don't know. Could be.
Yeah,
so he's doing a Vettel in Spa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but just like it was today in the Formula 1 race, as you said. But let's quickly check onto the battle for P2 in the GT class, which is P2 now, because Daniel Nieto has been caught up massively by De Barros right behind him. De Barros was already in striking distance when he approached the last corner. And Nieto
he's gone wide.
Yeah, Nieto definitely gone wide over the curb now. Oh, that was so close.
Yeah.
Oh, that was close. Close to losing the car. De Barros now on the outside for turn 3. Will he make it stick? Nieto giving him plenty of space. Yeah, absolutely brilliant move, De Barros, with balls as big as Kevin Magnusson's, I guess. De Barros, nice move. Oh, Nieto very late on the brakes right there into the tight left-hander. But it's once again not completely over, because slipstream is definitely affecting Nieto right now, and I wonder if he's able to pull a move into the chicane. No, he thinks better of
he's
it.
too right.
Yeah, too far away, definitely.
Far away, yeah. And meanwhile, Max Verstappen has driven the fastest race lap with a 1:19.125. So he's now the whole of the fastest lap.
He just, as
Not
I said,
anymore. It's now Spano with 1:18.5, so he's 6 tenths faster than Zwerka. So wow, Spano is having an awesome race.
yeah, right. But just as I said, Zwerka looks to be he's gaining more and more on pace, and it looks like if he can improve any further than that, it will be interesting to see over the course of the race if he's able to gain back onto Chinos up front. We are riding on board with Daniel Nieto into turn 1 right now. He's of course chasing the 2nd place, but I think for the moment he has to settle with 3rd place in the Aston Martin. Of course, on debut that's quite a nice result. He should be fine with the result for that. But then again, of course, he's a racing driver and he always wants to go for the best position possible. As we just passed the time for being under the 1 hour mark, so less than 1 hour remaining in this race around the Fuji Speedway here in Japan. Bruno Spano currently your leader in LMP1, and Marcos Landa your leader in GTE. Sorry. While meanwhile we look onto the battle for P2 in the GTE class between Otavio De Barros and there's a yellow flag out right there in the chicane. I wonder what happened there. Can we see? Oh, Jins, it should be his name. Is into the wall. The Colombian,
yep.
Only Colombian in the field with the number 15. The only Ferrari in the field as well. Just have a quick look on the replay. What has happened there? It looks like also he's been caught up on acceleration out of the in the uphill complex.
Yeah,
it's a new.
Yeah, of course. So he made a. Also, he was too early on the throttle, but he made a mistake. The corner before, he's too near on the curb on the inside. He's jumping over the curb, and I guess that was the reason why he's on. Yeah. So
but still,
the curb.
But still, with a best lap time of 1 minute 33.9, that's actually not too bad. And if he's able to sort out his errors and at any other track, if he ever returns to WEC, which we of course hope for him and of course Ferrari as well, he'll definitely be up there. I mean that time isn't too bad. I mean, look at it. He might be a little bit down in the terms of race pace, but I guess only due to some errors. For a driver that's on debut, that's absolutely a good time.
Yeah, it's of course a very nice debut. So he didn't make that much mistakes in the first race. He also led the LMP1 pass correctly, fairly, with any problems. So yeah, he's having also a very good overview if he's getting overlapped. We know that that the GT cars don't have to leave the racing line, but he's making a lot of space to don't make any complications for the race leader. So
just as we speak, sorry, Martin, I have to interrupt you because Daniel Nieto is up alongside Otavio de Barros on the main straight right now. He's even ahead, but that means that de Barros has the advantage of the slipstream right behind with him. And de Barros is pulling to the outside once again. He's going to the left side. They even touched slightly. He's going to the left side once again to the outside of turn 1. He was able to make a move in around the outside of turn 3 before, but not this time. Even the switchback didn't work. And that means Daniel Nieto, with a brilliant move out of the last corner, is now back up into P2 on the GTE class. Very nice for him on debut as well. He'll be absolutely happy with that. De Barros, however, will absolutely be fuming with exactly that. Yeah, I mean, that being said, I will go into a small break, Martin, and leave you alone with the pictures and the commentary. I'll be back in a few moments' time.
So yeah, ooh, very close here between Nieto and de Barros. Barros nearly touched Nieto, and yeah, that being said, yeah, Landa's having a very comfortable lead with 21 seconds ahead of the second place Nieto. So I guess if he's making no mistakes, he will win this race for sure. But it's still, we are still more than the half of the race, so it's 55 minutes left, and the first pit stops are also near. Of course, for the LMP1 cars as well. And that one, yeah, I guess, Spano was in the pits, so Spano is now on third position, while C4's teammate Jonas is leading this race and is making a pit stop in nearer time as well, I guess. And on the second position, without any stops, is Mark Stwerka, 7 seconds behind. So he's, quite not in the best pace for this race, but the race is still long, so we will see what happens. And Spano had made his first pit stop, so with fresh tires now, maybe he can attack now, and is 38 seconds behind, so he can't attack, of course, but with one pit stop, I guess if he's not making no mistake, he won't he won't lose his lead.
Yeah, you pretty much have it in the back. Absolutely correct. But then again, it's a long race, and we saw it all happening before in Bahrain. Max Verstappen has just won because the actual leader, Lucas Murno, was running out of fuel on the very last part of the track, and thus gifted Mark the win. Of course, refueling is allowed in WEC, but he just simply miscalculated it, which can happen, or his team, of course, which can happen. Very unfortunate, but the same has happened to Jesus Chirinos, the team owner of C4's Racing, and I guess that explains why exactly the team, what exactly has gone wrong. The team just simply miscalculated it. However, we'll have a quick look onto the leading pair, as you said before. Jesus Chirinos just going around once again without a pit stop, and Max Verstappen either. So
very close between, sorry to interrupt, close between De Barros and I think it was Chirinos. Yeah, it was the race leader.
Oh no, once again, he's always so aggressive on overtaking. I really wonder if the race control shouldn't do something about it. Then again, once again, I am race control. Oh, Nieto.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Nieto was running very wide right there. And I wanna.
Jins, so to interrupt you again, Julian Jins is in the pit now, making his first pit stop for the GT car.
It's a very long pit stop, if my display is correct. It
Yeah,
says 2,000 seconds.
Yeah, same for me here. Maybe he's making some repairs, or maybe he forgot to disable the repairs because he spawned into the wall, as we know, some laps ago. So maybe he forgot to disable the repairs, or maybe his car is more damaged and he need to do a repair stop as well.
Yeah, very interesting. We'll keep an eye out on that. But as you said, Giants is in the pits.
Ostwerker is going very right.
Giants just leave the pits right now. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say this. He went very right in the first corner. I actually checked the replay now, and yeah, he just went straight into the first corner without making a steering move. So that's very weird move.
Unusual, yeah.
Yeah, unusual, and he's also going very dangerously back to the track, nearly hitting the GT car there. So very weird.
Big shame for Mark though, because he was just catching up slightly to Jesus Juniors over the course of the last few laps. Of course, we are already in lap 29, and I said that first time in lap 20 or so. But as we can see, every little mistake can make the difference, right? And the gap has been now up to from right below 7 seconds up to something around 11 seconds. So yeah, all the hard work undone for Mark, but I'm sure with 51 minutes to go, it will be his stint right now, and he'll try everything to be successful once more. Also, back for the once again, De Barros and Nieto. These guys are really De Barros really steering it into the wall on the main straight. These guys are really loving to fight against each other. De Barros now to the inside of Nieto. Nieto, is he able to pull the switch back? No, it doesn't look like it, and you just caught it on camera. Very well done by Otavio De Barros to go back into second in the GTE class. Ahead of
the Barros is going right.
Yeah, indeed, and you also have to lift, which means exactly.
Nieto as well, so maybe he's going to make a move. He's on the inside, now on the outside of the turn, but he's trying maybe to make a switchback move.
I think it's more important to get the run down into the chicane right there, which he did perfectly, absolutely brilliant.
Perfect exit by Nieto there, so maybe he's trying to move on the chicane there. He's on the inside, looks good. Oh, they touched. But Nieto is still alongside him, and now he's having the inside line, of course, and maybe Nieto is making the move. No, it's still, he's still beside him.
No, that should be done for the moment, for the brief moment, because they were all swinging back around the last corner once again, of course, and that should give Nieto a good run onto the main straight. Oh, Nieto!
He nearly lost it.
Nearly spun. So close to spinning off.
And he's going into the... Yeah.
Barros
into the pits?
No, he's not.
He's
he
not.
just wanted... Yeah, exactly. He just wanted to break the slipstream. Yeah, definitely, good thing to do that.
For a second, he's making the Raikkonen like at the Nürburgring 2007. Not that extreme, but it looked like he's trying to go into the pits and then decided, I don't want to go into the pits.
Yeah, true, but then again, it was a good move by Nieto. It nearly made it around the outside in the chicane, which would have been a crazy move. Definitely something for a highlight compilation or anything of the race.
But that's the racing we want to see as well, so there was a touch, I think, but I mean, in GT field and GT racing, it's totally okay that you touch your mate.
Yeah, exactly. Not as someone who's in the GT field for quite a while, I can say you don't want to do that in any car, of course. But yeah, it of course belongs to the GT racing as well, as you perhaps wanted to say.
Yeah.
It's not okay to touch your mate because the other guy will always be furious, But every GT driver does it. He thinks, okay, he leaves me one car with the space. Let's make it 1.5 width. It's absolutely normal. Yeah, of course, and I guess the Barros understands that perfectly, and he's into P2 for the moment in GT class. Of course, Nieto's not too far back, but it looks so far so good. Also, we just missed the pit stop of Mark Stwerker. He's now back into third in the LMP1 class.
So
Which means-
Jonas is the only one without a pit stop in the LMP1 class now. He's having a pretty extended lead, making a mistake now.
Yeah, exactly. We
With
just caught it on camera.
with 50 seconds in front, so I think if he's making a fast pit stop, he can take the lead. Maybe it's 50 seconds is a lot, and I guess he's going into the pits right now. So
Oh, he
now,
crossed the white line on the pit
he's
entry.
crossing the white line, so maybe he's it will be under investigation as well.
I'm afraid that will be a penalty
That
during
will be
the
a
course
penalty,
of the
but
race.
let's
because,
now
yeah,
concentrate on the pit stop. So how long will it take?
okay,
Oh.
it says 2000. Yeah, okay, that might be a little display error.
Yeah, it's a display.
Yeah,
But-
that explains also why the pit stop of the guys should have been so long.
So how long will the pit stop of Jonas be? Can
Looks
he
like-
take the lead? Can he hold the lead? I think it will be very close, but it looks like Spanus retaking
Yeah, he's
the lead
emerging
again.
out of the last
Yeah.
corner right now, and Chinos hasn't even got going, so I guess
So,
Spanner
yeah.
will be back into the lead. The question is now, can he pull out ahead of Stwerker? Oh, that
Oh.
will be very close indeed, as you said.
Yeah, so
No, it looked closer than it is, actually. Spanner back into the lead after the pit stops in LMP1 are done.
yeah. And Jonas is leaving the pits right now.
Yes.
So he's taking over second place again, and yeah, Stwerker third one. Now crossing the start-finish line. And yeah, we saw that the mistake of Jonas in the last few corners, in the pre-last corner, I think. And that was exactly the thing I told. If you brake under the curb, you might lose the car there and go very right. And we saw that several times right now this race. So yeah, it's pretty difficult. Yeah.
Small update on the fight for the podium in GTE
Oh,
once again.
the Barros
Barros
got-
once again running wide,
Yeah.
but also Nieto's has made it back. He's back up in P2 in the GTE class, and the Barros now, of course, having to give way to the LMP1 car, or at least he did that, however, despite the rules, of course. Which says that, as you said before, the LMP1 car has to find its way around, which was exactly perfectly which was executed perfectly by Nieto right now. Just say the race about it. Yeah, Max Wacker will not like that. But
Yep.
that's the rule, and of course everyone has to oblige.
Oh, very
that
close,
was so
very close. That was not the best move by Stwerker. I mean, he had a very right line there, and then turning into the inside of the corner, it's not the most, the best move, I think. So he had to leave space there for the GT car.
But
I think he
can you
fought-
remember the discussion we had in Le Mans when we both were talking about how LMP1 cars should give space also in the corner, because the LMP cars have exactly the same cornering
Yeah,
speed as the
yeah, we
GT
talked
cars.
about it.
We both discussed about that for so long, and you always the LMP drivers. I've heard that from pretty much everyone. Of course, GT drivers, if they see an LMP1 driver is coming to the inside, we should back off as well. But you perhaps saw that on your own right now, that it could sometimes be a little bit more difficult than I guess both sides of the party do expect.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty unexpected in some cases. I think Mark thought that he was in front of him, and he didn't thought that the GT car is coming back on the inside. But as you said it, it's pretty unexpected in some cases. And was
That
pretty
being
close.
said, just watching the timing right now, over the course of the pit stop, it looked like Max Verstappen has gained like around a second on towards Chinos, but it looks like he's already to give up half a second of that once again. So at the moment, it looks like Max Verstappen is slightly slower than Chinos. As you can see in the background, the fight for P2 and the GTE class is still going on. These guys have fought
the
with
Barros And
Oh,
he nearly. Oh my
Oh, the
goodness.
Barros.
Oh my
Can you hold
goodness.
it? No, he spins. The Barros
He
into the wall
spins.
on the main straight. Oh, that's so super dangerous. Oh, he can emerge without any traffic coming on. Oh man, the Barros into the wall once again. He'll be absolutely furious.
That will be investigated by the race steward as well, but I think he was too fast on the pit entry, so it was his own fault, because maybe, I don't think Nieto brake tested him.
No,
Just-
Nieto went into the pits.
Yeah, he
Absolutely
wanted.
fine.
Yeah, but I think the Barros wanted to do the pits as well, but he was too
I
fast.
don't know, but
It looked
I
like-
think the Barros was just catching the slipstream and try to be in the slipstream for a good run and towards downwards turn 1, and just didn't expect Nieto to brake for the pit entry.
That's be a factor as well, but for me it looked like both wanted to go into the pits.
No, Christian Alvarez retiring from the race. Christian
Oh, what
Alvarez
a-
has retired his GTE car. That's big news. He just
And there-
went into the pits and retired. Of
Yeah.
course, he will score points. And the Barros having connection issues. It looks like.
Oh my goodness! So
I hope-
double problems for the Barros. Nearly crashed
Yes.
into Nieto, now having these connection issues. What a sad ending of a race. I mean, it was an awesome battle between them both, and we really enjoyed it to commentate that. And yeah, it also.
But he's not gone. He's still there in the lifetime. The question is he still racing? That's a
That's
good
a question, yeah.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out on that. Meanwhile, Philip Volland completely silently went into second place in the GTE competition as Nieto has made his pit stop and De Barros has made his.
Oh, he's back. Barros is back. I mean, I think he's having some leg issues.
Yeah, he had a major lag right there. Oh man, that has
now
cost
he's-
him like another minute or so.
Yeah, he's,
Oh man, De Barros. What a frustrating race so far for him. I mean, he had a really good fight for the first few minutes, but now that has been a horrible lap. Really, I don't wish that my worst opponent in any competition.
But I mean, the lag was there, but it's only 8 seconds behind Nieto, so I don't know what happened there. I guess he had a lag, but Nieto is still not that far ahead, so.
Yeah, but Nieto was in the pits,
Yeah.
and
you're
De Barros
right.
was
Yeah,
way ahead of
Yeah,
Nieto
of
when
course.
the
So
lag has
it's,
happened.
yeah, you're right. So that incident will be investigated for sure, and the Barros is now trying to make his pit stop.
Very early pit stop.
Yeah, I guess he wanted to make a pit stop with Nieto, but he unexpected the speed or the braking of Nieto. Nieto braked a lot earlier than is expected, and Barros was way too fast into the pit entry, so he wanted to avoid the crash, and then, yeah.
Yeah, very unfortunate for him so far. Where is he going now? Where the hell is his pit stop? Wow, that's so far down the road.
It's
Also,
very,
yeah, and
very in front.
interesting face right on the roof of the Barros right there. We can see that right now in perfect display. As we go have a quick look through the field, you can see Julian Jans is still racing. We'll find out. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. If you ever watch this back, I'll ask you for the next race how your name is pronounced correctly. So we get that sorted. But for the moment, I'll stick with the Giants, I guess. And that should be the best. So he's in P9 still racing as the Barros leaves the pit. Nieto is in third for the moment, and Volland without a pit stop is in second. Of course, Landa without another pit stop as well is leading the GTE class. Yeah, we're just a little bit under the 45-minute mark, exactly to be precise. We're a little bit under the 40-minute mark, which means that we have already passed the halfway point of the race, which means that everyone who's still racing right now will score points, which is good for, I guess, the overall results. And yeah. That being said, we're looking on to Marcos Landa, who's now closing up to the guy who's been chasing him for the first few laps.
And
Look
now
at
he's
that.
Yeah, Landa has extended his lead. He's far away from the other guys. Oh, and nearly spawned in the
Just as we said it.
Yeah, that was very close.
Oh.
I guess if I
Good
say it,
reaction from him.
I think if I say something good to the drivers, they nearly spawn or spawn
Yeah,
like.
you shouldn't jinx it.
I think
right?
I should be careful my words.
Commentator's curse at its best.
I should jinx it as well. But yeah, I think just going back to the first topic with the Bardas and Nieto, I think they, in my opinion, there will be no further action for this incident because I think it was the Bardas' fault because he was way too fast into the pit entry. I don't think that Nieto wanted to brake test him or whatever. So, in my expectation, my result is that I don't think that there will be a penalty for Nieto. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, we won't have a replay of that because there was so much going on in that
the stewards
particular
as well
moment.
will check it. But
Yeah, exactly.
my opinion is that it was his own fault. It underestimated the braking point of Nieto, and I think he was very fast into the pits. No one will drive that fast into the pit zone.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I mean he was perhaps going onwards and thinking about the stop pretty much later. Also, he should give way to the blue flags, and surely it will be a way for him for the moment. Yeah, definitely. But
he's
Landa,
making no space. It's
yeah.
really weird. Maybe he thinks he's in a fight.
I'm not so sure because he's now driving into the way of Landa. That's
Maybe
not...
Landa's give him some lights or whatever. He's allowed to. If he's overlapping.
Very, very kind of bad communication right there.
Yeah, of course.
But then again,
But now
of course,
he's
Landa,
pressing in,
yeah. With the overspeed out of the slipstream,
Yeah,
of course,
hopefully-
the Barros with the damaged car.
Hopefully the Barros will not crash into him now or try to fight him. But he's having his slipstream, he's going for a move on the inside. Oh no, he don't.
He's late on the brakes. but
Yeah,
no,
he's not
that's
in the
absolutely
wheel, but
fine.
everything fine, so yeah.
Yeah. Still,
Really-
race control will definitely look at it the last few 5 minutes. It was pretty much see what exactly has happened to De Barros and how his race unfolded, especially the blue flag incident right there. We just saw that full on camera. And yeah, you know what? I'll just leave that to race control or the admins afterwards to decide for them.
Oh!
because
Holland
I
nearly
don't
spawned.
want to be the one to judge. Who's sorry?
Holland nearly spawned in the same spot where Vardis spawned. But he's still holding the car, and we shouldn't forget that Volland is now in the second position in the GT class. Of course, without any stop. I don't think he made a stop.
No,
Right
he hasn't
now.
made a pit of that.
He
That's
hasn't
absolutely
made,
correct.
he hasn't made a pit stop so far, but he has 50 seconds, a 50 seconds gap to the to Nieto. I actually don't know how long a GT stop is going. Maybe.
Yeah, pretty much the same amount of time that's been in LMP1 as well.
Okay. So yeah, maybe Follard will take over now after he stopped the third position in the GT class. I'm sure he will, because the Bardos is far away behind now.
Yeah, question is though, is he able to grab a second position? Because Nito is...
That's the question. That's a really interesting question. So Folland, who has had a very quiet race so far, with not that much incidents, is now maybe the lucky third guy who's having this second position now.
Indeed. Because, yeah, Nieto will definitely be unsettled by that accident as well. I'm pretty sure. Because if you see something like that happen in your mirror, it's always a little bit like, was it my fault? You always be a little bit unsure.
So,
but then again, as I said before, he's a racing driver, and over the course of this half a lap, Nieto has lost 3 seconds already. That's quite a margin. I wonder if there was any error or contact for Nieto.
maybe, I guess you don't have any damage of the incident with Bardos, because the Bardos... Oh! And Nieto is going very right. Oh, nearly lost the car on the curb. So yeah, he's making a lot of mistakes right now.
That would have been an incident to tell your grandchildren of.
Yeah.
If you spin right in the way of,
Of course.
of an accelerating LMP1 car.
But yeah,
Because-
we need to talk about the reflection of the Bardos as he avoided the crash, which was pretty nice. So maybe some other drivers have had crashed into that opponent, but Bardos managed to avoid the crash with some very nice move there. So yeah, props to the Bardos as well.
Yeah, I
Of
mean,
course,
definitely.
it's not the
man.
race he's
Yeah.
expected, but yeah, it was a pretty nice, avoiding.
I think at this point, however, he would have wished to go straight into the back of Nietzsche because that would have cost
Yeah,
him surely a lot
for
less
sure,
time
yeah.
than spinning into the
It's-
wall and yeah.
Yeah, it ruined his race, but not only this, this problem. It was also the slack problem he had, where he lost like 1 minute. Maybe he had a freeze or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so pretty sad for him. Yeah, brilliant race and a brilliant battle with Nieto. So, yeah.
We watch on Julian Giants going around in P8 with JG Racing in the Ferrari. The first Ferrari that's ever been on the grid.
Yeah.
And now we can look.
He's 1 lap behind.
Yeah, he's 1 lap behind the next driver up the road, which is Ottavio De Barros. So very, very lonely race for
Yeah,
him.
of course.
But then again, you know, it's as we said before, it's his debut, and I'm quite sure he will have quite steep learning curve ahead as we see him going into the grass. But you know, nobody's arrived perfectly to be a champion, unless he's Marcus Landa, of course.
And as you told, it's a pretty silent race for everyone here right now. Spanos extending his lead, is making seconds after seconds. He's now having 15 seconds gap ahead of Chirinos and then Stverka. So very silent race when he's managing his lead and without any problems. So yeah.
Very unusual though, because usually at this stage, with a little bit more than 30 minutes ago, you can see all of these guys bunching up back together. But then again, Folland hasn't made his pit stop yet. And also, as I said before, Berka has always been gaining ever so slightly onto Shiras. The gap has now come down to a little bit,
9 seconds.
somewhat around 9 seconds, which was 11 seconds before. So it looks like Shiras is at the moment a slight notch slower than Stverka, and I wonder what would have happened without that mistake Stverka had in the first corner, because he lost 3 seconds right there. That would mean that he'll be up to around about 6 seconds. Yeah,
And of course,
behind him.
the problem with the overtaking GT cars, where they in the chicane and the corners afterwards, where he lost also some amount of time, was not that ideal. So yeah, not the best weekend for Stverka.
But then again, we don't know how much time has lost Shinos in some grass.
You're right.
Yeah.
But back to the topic, Stverka not having the optimal pace today. It's not his race weekend, and as he told me, for the qualifying, it's not his most beloved track. So actually, without any practice as well, he's going into the race, and we know, or as I know, Shinos has made some practice for this race yesterday as well. So I checked it at live races, so I know it. So yeah, Shinos is maybe having I don't know the word.
You mean for the lack of preparation that Stverka has been going through? He's still doing quite a good race, which is correct. I mean, cannot put down any of his performance, and the gap has come up once again slightly, and it's quite about time that we once again talk you through the actual ranks right now, because we just surpassed the 30-minute mark. So Bruno Spano is leading the race ahead, for CFOS Racing ahead of his teammate Jesus Chirinos with a gap of approximately 15 seconds. Jesus Chirinos, as I said before, is in second right now for CFOS Racing as well, roughly 10 seconds ahead of Mark Zweck. As you can see, very, very dangerous overlapping maneuver by Jesus Chirinos here, right there. I think race control will not be too happy about that, or the admins overall. Mark Zwecker, however, is in third, back to the grid, and he's racing for Repsol Zwinkel Racing LMP1 team, the sole Audi on the grid. He's roughly 10 seconds behind Jesus Chirinos. Marcos Landa is leading the GTE class in fourth overall. First in GTE, of course, with him being the leader. Who have thought of that? His gap is currently 53 seconds ahead of the next competitor, Philip Volland, who's racing for MPG Competition GT team in fifth overall, which means he is in second. These guys haven't pitted. However, right behind them, they have pitted. Daniel Nieto is in currently third on his debut for Light Arrows, the new team that just inscribed today. He's 2 laps ahead of the next competitor, which is Julian Giants for JG Racing. Also a new sign-up, also in debut. He's in fourth currently. Unfortunately, we just missed that, apparently. De Barros, perhaps he just had enough. Retired the car. He was running in a superb second position, had a brilliant fight with Nieto over the course of the race, but now unfortunately has retired in GTE. Christian Alvarez had to leave us to go to work, so real life commitments apparently play a role into that as well. And Carlos Frau has retired on lap 10 already with the disconnect, so the championship leader gone as well. That's the grid after 1 hour and a little bit more than 1 hour of racing. A little bit less than 30 minutes to go in the 7th round of the IVRC WEC Championship here at Fuji in Japan.
And Holland is still on the second position in the GT class. And he is extending his gap to Nieto. It was like, I think, 50 seconds some laps ago, and now he's gaining second after second. It's now 52 seconds. So yeah, maybe it will work out for him. I don't know, but we will see that. And of course, Spawn at the front is still also extending his lead. Has now 17 seconds. Yeah, quite a silent race. But maybe it will be a interesting and exciting last section of the race. We will see that. And of course, the leader of the Spano drove the fastest lap. It was on insert right now. He's driving a 1.18.2, so the fastest lap. Yeah. So, I guess still trying to extend his lead, and now it's about 20 seconds. So, yeah, without any problems, I guess he will win this race for sure. But still 25 minutes to go. Everything can happen. And in the GT class, as we see, Landa is still on the first position, extending his lead every lap, now with 58 seconds ahead of Volland. Yeah,
we saw
only
that.
Race for him.
Absolutely right, but then again, if you dominate like that, you always have. I think it's fine for him to have a lonely race if he can dominate like that. Also, there has been a long time coming that MPG Competition Team Asia will not win a race, because they have won every race so far. And it looks like, right for today, as Landa drives the fastest lap of the GTE class with 1 minute 33 it was, if I'm correct.
Yes, but I just wanted to interrupt you because the gap between Stverka and Chinos is, not the biggest right now, because it was 10 seconds the lap before, now it's 6 seconds, so I guess Chinos has made a mistake there. So, yeah, Sverker is now being Shigenos in a start-finish race, so maybe he's taking him under pressure or whatever. Maybe there will be an exciting last section of the race.
You can see Jesus Shiro struggling to keep his car on track for the moment. I guess the last round of pit stops will also be inbound very, very shortly.
Yeah,
because Spano should be the first one to pit because he was also the first one to pit before. And
I think Shigenos is having some problems with his tires, maybe, I don't know. Can't see it here. But he's under pressure, of course, making some mistakes there, as you told. So yeah, it's now 6 seconds, so it's for LMP cars it's nothing. 6 seconds. If you have a good lap and maybe if Shigenos is going into the pits and having a longer pit stop than Sverker is immediately in the second position, so everything is still possible. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. As you can see, Marcus Landa is now into the pits for his first and last pit stop in the GTE class. We'll have, of course, have a look at him and see how his stop's going.
Very long stint, yeah, of course. And as I mentioned before, he always extended his lead every lap, so he was on the limit for sure.
Yeah, he definitely was on the limit.
But having such a long stint is pretty, yeah.
That's quite usual.
Pretty impressive.
It's quite usual in GTE cars though, because you have to go very long. Otherwise, you'll use so much time on refueling, because refueling takes so long in GTE cars that you rather drive down your tires completely and then do a change either of tires and refuel, or you just refuel and say, hey man, otherwise I will lose way too much time. But as you can see, Landa straight out of the pits once again, running a little bit wide. And we saw in the background, Philip Folland was just coming there.
Yeah.
So it looks like Max Landa, of course, stays in the lead after his pit stop. So
but we need to mention
that shows how dominant his race has been so far. And yeah, if he goes on to win that, it will be absolutely deserved.
Yeah, but we need to mention that Folland has gained a lot of time because of the pit stop. And it looks like Folland, I don't know if he's making a stop, but it looks like he's having no problems so far with his tires and with his pace. And if he's trying to survive this race without any stops, it would be great result for him after this chaotic start for sure.
But that's absolutely not possible, unfortunately, because we just said from when we built the complete mod, we said, hey, of course GTEs should have a large tank and whatnot, just like in real life, so they can extend so they can race like 1 hour, but they shouldn't be allowed to go through the whole race distance. So if Folland is able to make that work, I would be hugely surprised. Also, that would show that he was absolutely saving fuel from the very first lap onwards. And I don't think. Yeah, he's coming to the pits right now. Yeah, exactly.
So, that's what it is. But let's take now his pit stop. Maybe it's enough time for him. Yellow flags. Where? Okay. So now the pit stop of Philip Folland. Let's see if he's staying on the second position in the GTE class, or if he's losing it.
Yeah, I think he should stay ahead, because the gap was like roughly about 53 seconds, and when Landa came into the pits, it was roughly about 50 seconds as well. Yeah, no tire change for Folland apparently. Yeah, exactly. He just kept on the same set of tires, so he should come out comfortably ahead of Nito, of course, with the shorter refuel time. That should be roughly about 20-25 seconds. Right. Yeah, exactly the same as Landa did as well when he left the pits.
It's not that easy to drive. The pit exit is not that easy because you're on the inside line and not really on the apex. You can't really hit the apex on the inside line. So
it's one thing, and also it's very complicated to have you leave the pits in the GT cars, and with the amount of fuel that went into the car right now,
Yeah.
it should be around, I say, 40 liters for the final 20 minutes, roughly a bit more like 50 liters. You gain like 50 kilos as well, which makes it significantly more difficult to judge the braking point correctly, and you'll most likely always end up a little bit deep in the first corner, just as it happened to Landa and Volland, of course.
And Spanus has made his second pit stop, is now in the third position, exiting the pits. Sorry.
No worries.
And now in the third position. I don't know. I think he made a splash and dash as well, so no tire change here. Only fuel.
Yeah, he
Because
lost
20
roughly
seconds.
about 30 seconds indeed. Okay. So that's only a splash and dash,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Okay. Yeah, you are the LMP1 expert, not me, so that's
no,
why I'm
yeah,
asking you.
I think it's possible to only change the tires one time and have a splash and dash in the second stint or in the second stop. So yeah, of course. I mean, if you change your tires once, you're still safe and you don't have any problems with the tires. I had the problem at the Red Bull Ring, not the best race, but I wanted to make a splash and dash 2 in my second pit stop. But I inserted too lower fuel, so I needed to make a third pit stop and lost my podium.
Most interestingly, though, for the moment, to give us a good explanation of what can go wrong at your Red Bull Ring run, is that Stwerka and Chinos just kept it on for another lap. So I wonder if they ever come back into the pits.
Yeah, that's the question. If Chinos and Stwerka will make another pit stop or will drive until the end. So if they drive until the end, Spano has a little problem.
Indeed, I mean he's 14 seconds behind Stwerka for the moment. Also, the gap between Stwerka and Chinos seems to have stabilized. As you can see, Stwerka struggling around the outside of the GT car right there.
But Landa's making some space, so
yeah,
no problem here.
On the acceleration, exactly. LMP1 definitely much stronger on the acceleration, though not much time lost for either of those. But as I said before, the gap seemed to have stabilized between Chinos and Stwerka, so it's a little bit around. It's more about 7 seconds right now.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps the overlapping has cost Stwerka some time, but it was about 6 seconds before, and it is still around 6 seconds as Chinos goes straight for another time, and so does Stwerka. So these two guys go ahead for another lap.
Yeah. So now pit stops here.
Exactly. Also, as we look into the GTE field, it looks like Nieto has been a little bit faster than Volland, but with 23 seconds to catch up in the last 15 minutes of the race, that's looking like a very unlikely task for Nieto to do. So it looks like the GTE field is pretty much set unless something major dramatically happens, which means that most likely Marcus Landa will be the winner of the GTE race, which was very likely from the beginning onwards, let's just say like that. But then again,
also the qualifying result.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaks for itself. So 1
Indeed.
second ahead of the rest of the field. It's a pretty awesome result. But we don't need to forget that Volland is having an excellent race. Having the second place in the GTE class, and I mean he lost a lot of time in the last laps before he after Landa pitted. It was like the gap was 10 seconds and now it's 25 seconds, so he's making it slow, I guess, because he has a lot of pretty huge gap to the back of Nieto, so it's 24 seconds.
Of course, Volland also. Sorry to interrupt you. But
No
you're
problem.
completely right. I mean, the gap. He also profited from the retirements that were just happening in front of him. So I guess, but I think also that Philip will not complain about any of those positions gained, and he'll happily take second position once again in the GTE field. As we just saw Max Verstappen doing another slight mistake, so he's, as you said before, it's definitely not his race weekend so far.
Maybe also he's having some tire problems as well. I mean, it's the end of the race. The tires are not the freshest, so of course you are having a lot of tire wear. And at the end of the race, it's you recognize that extremely. So
Yeah, sure. With the tires wear down, the drivers wear down as well, of course, with being tired and stuff, and also the car slows a little bit down, at least in GTE. If you over rev it too much, the engine lose a little bit of power, and aerodynamical damage, of course, slows it down as well. So yeah, it's always a little bit different or difficult to keep up the pace in the last few moments of the race, and especially if you were alone as much as you were, as much as Mark were, of course, for pretty much the whole race.
Oh,
it's difficult. It's difficult to keep up the concentration. So hats off to yellow flags.
Yellow flags.
That must have been followed.
Yeah, Jins spun.
Jins spun once again.
Yeah.
Okay, then it was Jins once again. We're having a quick look on the replay. He was just going straight and then, lost it on acceleration.
Of course, he's bumping over the curb as well, so
yeah. Yeah,
was
bad
a mistake
news for him, but also I think 2 laps down on the car in front. He's just there to keep it for the last few minutes right there, I guess, and to gather all experience he can for the next race, which will be in a little bit more than 4 weeks' time in Shanghai, of course. No, that's not correct. It will be in exactly 30 days. On the... No, that's not right either. Give me a second, I'll look up the calendar while you take over the microphone.
Of course. So, yeah. He was leading. And Zwerka's in the pits. So Zwerka's making another pit stop, which means that Spanus taking the second position. So the only question is right now, is Shigenos also pitting again, or will he make it until the end? Because that's it's the fight for the victory right now. Of course, not on the track. It's maybe a tactical fight, but if Shigenos won't make a pit stop, he will win the race. That's a fact.
That's absolutely right. Zwerka with a really short stop, so I guess no tire change for him either. But of course, our attention goes to Shigenos, who's now 23 seconds ahead of his teammate. Perhaps it's even enough to just make a splash and dash.
Yeah, I think so too. So I mean, if he's making another pit stop, it's only a splash and dash.
But he has to do it right now because Spano's catching, and that's a major issue. So either he goes to the pit once again and makes a really short splash and dash, or he just keeps it on to the very end of the race. But that's the turning point right here that we all have to look into. But it you see, that's the interesting thing about endurance racing. Even after 80 minutes of racing, we have so much action going on, especially around the halfway point where everything went into chaos and we didn't know what the hell was going on in the GTE class. There's still some fighting going on for the overall lead and the overall victory in the LMP1 class. It's absolutely crazy, and that's exactly why we're here, to watch it, see it, to participate in it, and to enjoy it. So, back on the racing action, Jesus Shigenos, of course, as we said before, he's managing the gap to Spano, surprising, to my surprise at least, because it looked like Spano was the faster one out of these two in the first stages of the race, but at the moment it looks like Jesus Shigenos is, holding on to the lead. So now he's still not going into the pits, and he refuses to take the pit entry. So I guess it's more like, maybe he doesn't like the pit girls or anything like that.
But we shouldn't forget that Spanus losing some time because he made an extra pit stop, so he's having more fuel right now as Shigenos. So that means Shigenos can drive faster times. Of course, Spano won't drive his fastest lap because he made a splash and dash and don't have fresh tires. So he's losing time. I don't know how the tires of Shigenos are right now, but of course Shigenos is having lower fuel than Spano right now. So that's.
But shouldn't it be at this point of the race pretty much the same amount of fuel? Oh, Shigenos very late on the brakes right there.
Very late.
But shouldn't it be, if Shigenos doesn't go into the pits anymore, he should have had enough fuel until the end, when Spano should have
Always making
pretty much the same. Yeah, he's getting slightly nervous right now, it looks like.
Of course.
Lost about 2 seconds in this sector alone, or 1.5 seconds. So yeah, it's still very interesting to see what Jesus Shigenos will do and how the race will unfold for him. He's
coming to the pits? No.
No, still not, just going a little bit to the middle of the road, which he did so far in pretty much every lap, to show perhaps the GT cars up front that he's there.
But
there's a big train of GTE cars just ahead of him.
Oh yeah, he's making
Yeah,
lights.
and Giants just going off.
Fairly space.
Seeing there's a giant flash in his back in his rearview mirror, and he thought, okay, see ya.
But we shouldn't forget that at the first pit stop that Shigenos crossed the pit entry line.
Oh
so
yeah, that's a good point.
So that means that Shigenos will get a penalty for sure.
So that means he has to go on.
Yeah,
if he wants to win the race.
I don't know actually how much you get if you cross
10 seconds it is.
10 seconds. So if he stays out, he will be the race winner for sure. But if he makes a pit stop, I guess, and he comes out in front of Spano with 2 or 3 seconds, he won't win the race.
I'm just looking it up what the penalty exactly is for crossing the white line. Well, I think it is 10 seconds because, yeah, that's what we gave the drivers in the past. But that would be very unfortunate if he would have lost this race just on the green table basically in the end. But yeah, just let me look it up. Crossing the white line is exactly. Oh no, it's 20 seconds.
Oh, it's 20 seconds. So
it's 20 seconds.
So actually, Shigenos is now in the time where he has the race lead. So if he loses time, like under 20 seconds, he won't win the race. So he needs to go on, and he needs to be fast. And it looks like it's 2 or 3 tenths now. So it will be pretty close until the last lap. So Shigenos hasn't to do any mistake anymore. So yeah, I don't know how to call it.
Yeah, he shouldn't do any mistakes anymore. That's absolutely correct. As the slides go down here at the Fuji Speedway in the last 5 minutes, it's all on for Bruno Spano. Oh, Shigenos with a small mistake, but also Spano has lost some time right there as well. So the gap has pretty much stayed the same.
It's pretty
at this
close
stage.
right now. It's so close. Now Shigenos has lost the victory. In this time, it's now 19.6 seconds.
You mean in the gap, but it's already up between. It's always going back and forth slightly, and we will have to look.
This will be so close. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, just switching over to Bruno Spano to see what the gap is when he comes across the finish line. Right now it's something below 20 seconds, which means Bruno Spano will be the winner. But we will see what the timing says when he goes over the finish line. It says exactly nothing. That's interesting. It's still going on in variables. That's not as precise as we want to do. But Jesus Shigenos, he's the man who's in charge completely right now. If he's keeping on to make some mistakes and errors, he'll definitely lose the race. But if he stays out of trouble, has some good overtakes against the GTE cars, he can still win this race. Well, so that's exactly what we're looking forward to. And also, just another minor mistake from Shigenos. It's also costly. And I swear, I'm absolutely sure if he re-watches this race and comes to this part and realizes that it was there where he lost the lead, it will be absolutely heartbreaking for him.
I guess he's making a pit stop. So I think it's over now for the victory. He's
Yeah,
making
yeah,
another
definitely.
pit stop.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
Oh, yellow flags somewhere.
Yeah, I guess that was for him slowing down.
Okay.
Otherwise,
So yeah,
there was no
it's
other car around, so I guess it was for him slowing down.
last pit stop for Chinos. I think also the last pit stop of the race. Also, I think it will be a splash and dash as well. No need to change tires. Yes, splash and dash. And there's coming Spano and retaking the lead. And I think that should be it now
Yeah,
for him.
exactly. But the question is now, can Max Zwerka
Yeah, can't
catch up to the
No.
20 seconds? It's very close. Once again,
Yeah, it's very close again. You're right.
I wish I could scream over to Jesus, go faster.
No,
but
it's
then
not
again,
closer enough.
Yeah,
It's 70, so
I think yeah, with the game calculating the gap, I think it should be
it's-
pretty much over for.
so yeah. So
for
Stwerka also the lucky third man here, with Chinos having the penalty. So Stwerka will earn the second position, which give him some very important points for the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, but then again, Bruno Spano is of course able to extend his
Yeah,
lead
of
even
course,
further.
sure.
So even after this race, if he has to skip one race, he will still be in the lead, no matter what, unless he has to retire right now. But of course, no, we don't wish that to him nor anyone else. And but that being said, everything can happen, and it's just over when it's over, not before that. So
Well,
Bruno Spano with 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock.
Well, I actually thought that Chinos can make it to the end. It looked like 4 minutes until the race and that he could make it to the end, but yeah, unfortunately not. Means he will also lose his second position. Oh, very close here between Spano and Volland.
Yeah, Spano was running wide on the pit on the corner entry, of course, and
Werka gaining now the fastest race lap, 1.18.1. Sorry to interrupt you.
yeah, absolutely fine. I wasn't about to say anything, but then again, interesting point to see that Zwerka is now coming alive at the very end of the race. That's a little bit too late, in my opinion, but I'm sure he knows where exactly he has lost the race, and that's definitely in the preparation for this event.
Yep.
Because if you look at his raw speed right now, I think he could have been there with Spano, at least with Chinos, but surely with Spano as well, fighting for the overall win. But then again, it's his own fault, and I'm pretty sure he knows that as well.
Yep. And as he talked to me before the race, it's not his beloved track, so I think the motivation wasn't there as well to prepare for this track. So I think his motivation was like all or nothing, something like this, and maybe having
And
some
more
luck
like nothing.
with crashing out, with maybe a crash of both C-Force's cars, which didn't happen, luckily. So yeah.
Yeah, but you know, these guys, as I said at the very beginning of the race, these guys know exactly what they're doing, and I'm pretty sure that even when they're talking, with each other in TeamSpeak, that they don't would crash into each other, risk anything. As we can see, the last 10 seconds of this race are on the clock right now. We are on lap 67. And this should be the final lap, if I'm not completely wrong.
Too. Yeah, that should be the final lap. I think
No,
Spano's making the last two corners and then.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely the last lap. It's now confirmed by the race, by the display, and that means we can see right now Bruno Spano on the start-finish straight for the last time as he switched on the lights in the very last lap, and he's about to win the 7th round of the IVRC Touring Car Championship, which he did right now. Congratulations to him. Jesus Chinos will cross the finish line in second for CFOS Racing as well. And we're now waiting for Mark Zwerka to cross the finish line as well in third in the last LMP car. Unfortunately, it would have been funny to see a GTE car crossing the line in third in overall. As you can see, Mark Zwerka now done as well. Markus Landa will win the GTE class in absolutely dominant performance. The first time ever that a non-MPG competition Team Asia car crosses the line in first in the GTE class. The first time ever that an Aston Martin is not the winner of the GTE class. Congratulations to Marcus Landa, the Uruguayan driver. And we can see Philip Folland has already crossed the finish line. Daniel Nieto has crossed the finish line right now in third on debut. And Julian Jones is in the last corner as well. He will go on to finish the race in fourth in the GTE. Absolutely great debut for him as well. The two debutants on third and fourth. And we are just waiting to see him crossing the finish line right now. And then we putting on the last few drivers. Otavio de Barros unfortunately retired after having a catastrophic start of the second part of the race. Christian Alvarez unfortunately had to leave us for work, but that's how it is sometimes in real life. And Carlos Frau, the championship leader in GTE, rounds out the classification. Overall, he just had a disconnect in lap 10, and that's pretty much it. As you can see, the celebration going on.
Yeah, impressive drive by all drivers here. Spano, nice drive. As we saw it in the qualifying. He actually had also a very good pace. Zwerger struggling a bit with the pace. And yeah, Landa having a super impressive drive with his Ford GT. But the most surprise for me is also Volland gaining the second position in the GT E-Cars E classification. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the race. The celebrations are still going on. Or the server has closed, I don't know. I tapped out. Oh.
User joined your channel.
Okay, I've just been off. Sorry, I hope I don't to interrupt you or anything.
I
just
didn't say anything, so it's
perfect.
fine.
I'm just here. I just asked the guys if they're up for some interviews, and we are just having the race winner Bruno Spano with us right now.
User was moved to your channel.
Bruno, congratulations! What a brilliant drive from you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
Pretty tired. I'm exhausted because I was really nervous because last few days and especially today I've been having internet issues. The connection lost for I don't know a couple of hours, then came back, and when I was testing there, I don't know 5 minutes before qualifying, went down again, and so I was really scared that I wouldn't be participating today, but well, miracle, and the connection came back just in time.
Yeah, you had a pretty nice drive to be honest, but my question is, Chinos didn't stop very late on the last section of the race, 4 minutes before the checkered flag. Did you thought that Chinos will make us stop again with a splash and dash, or will drive until the end and take the victory?
Well, he was talking to me all the time about the fuel, how much fuel did he have left, but he was about 1 lap short, so I knew that he would eventually have to pit again, and with the advantage that he had wouldn't be enough to rejoin ahead.
Okay, perfect. You are very much in the lead of the LMP1 Drivers' Championship right now. You can even skip around. What's your plan for the last 3 races? Will you still try to win, or do you just want to manage the lead in the Drivers' Championship?
Well, to be honest, since, I don't know, a couple of months ago, I thought that this would be the round that I would skip, because today is my father's birthday, but unfortunately he had a trip, and well, kind of I had all the afternoon free to participate here. But no, my plan plan is to keep racing because I want to manage the lead because especially if you if you have a competitive race, you are really hard to beat. So I can't afford to miss any race. I have to keep scoring, and if I can win again, will be perfect.
Okay, all right, perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you also for your time. Enjoy your win, and hope to speak you soon, very soon, in the next upcoming races.
Oh, sure. You're welcome. We'll see next round.
Okay, all right. See you then.
User was moved out
So,
of your
unfortunately, I
channel.
just have to apologize. He's not from Brazil, he's from Argentina. But that can happen. So, up now with the GTE winner, Marcos Landa, real racing driver from Uruguay. That's absolutely correct in this case.
User was moved to your channel.
So, hello, Marcos. Congratulations. You are the first driver who is not from MPG competition to win a GTE race. How do you feel?
Hi, Constant, very good result for the whole team now. I'm win the GTA and Bruno win the LP1, so it's a good race for our team. No?
Yeah, okay. I can see. Pretty dominant drive from you as well. So, did you think that you will be so fast?
Yes, the car is good. It's so fast the car, and now continue for the next race. I hope, and see where faster can I drive. No.
Yeah, sure, sure. Final question. How much do you think does your real racing career help you for sim racing? Usually, I guess it's the question is vice versa, but in this case, how much does your real racing help you for sim racing?
Well, my real car race, I have a lot of in the past other people or going to faster lap is very help me. Bueno, the then the race is very similar.
Okay, all right, perfect. Thank you very much. Congratulations once again. Enjoy your win, and I hope to speak you very soon for another race winners interview.
Well, thanks.
See you then.
User was moved out of your channel.
So, Martin, final thoughts on the race?
Yeah, it was a pretty exciting race in the first half. Unfortunately, we had the incident with the Butters, where he lost a lot of time also with his leg. And yeah, I guess in front it was pretty exciting until the end, of course, with the late pit stop of Shinos as well. So yeah, awesome race. Can't
Yeah,
wait
it
for
was.
the next one.
Yeah, exactly. I think I hear from that you quite enjoyed your commentator's debut, and it was an absolute pleasure to have you with me in the commentary booth for the first time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, also it was an absolute pleasure to commentate this race in general, because we have seen quite a lot more boring races before, and it's glad. I'm very glad to see that we can provide some good action consistently on YouTube finally. So we are up for the next race that will be on this Saturday, on September 7th, at the Touring Car Championship at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve, where the Touring Car Action returns for the third round of the TCC, and we'll see the door scrapping stuff once again, as we love it. And the WEC will continue the September 29th at the Shanghai International Circuit. Don't know if we will have a stream for the Shanghai round of the WEC. We will most likely have another round streamed, but we will definitely have the Touring Car Championship round streamed, and I hope to see you all there at this exact same time and on Saturday for the Touring Car Championship. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as we did, and until then, see ya.
Goodbye.